How's it going, YouTube? Just setting up the live stream on Facebook if it ever wants to load. At the same time. The Middleton contract just came in. I can't spell. All right, how's it going, everybody? This is Highly Opinionated. We got a special podcast today. Today is the opening of NBA free agency. It's one of my favorite times of the year because it's like great storylines in the NBA, and news just drops constantly throughout the week. And this is one of the strangest ones I've seen already because it doesn't officially open until 5 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. So we're 26 minutes away, and for the past couple hours, like huge bombs have been dropping where like players are already committed. We already have contract info. Like it's just been crazy. Like something that just happened is Chris Middleton is going to re-sign with Milwaukee. That's not surprising. And his deal is going to be 5 years, $178 million. Now that's a little much for Chris Middleton, in my opinion, but the Bucks had to re-sign him. And this just came in. According to the Boston Herald, Al Horford won't be coming back to Boston despite the Celtics being rumored as one of the potential teams that were still in the running for him. So that's huge. Not unexpected, but huge. All right. Let's see if there's anyone in the YouTube comment section because I'm really bad at checking that. Anyone on Facebook? No. All right. So anyway, getting back to the deals, I'm going to go through some deals that I've seen already that are likely done deals. Some of them are they're all not technically official yet because you can't officially sign a deal till 5 o'clock. That's when the new caps starts officially. Speaking of the new cap, I'm wearing my Dwayne Wade Bulls jersey because at 5 o'clock, Dwayne Wade's last NBA contract will run out, and he's officially a retired NBA player. And that's sad. So let's just start. We got a few big ones. Kemba Walker is likely going to go to the Celtics, leaving the Charlotte Hornets after talks broke down on a 4-year, $141 million deal. Kemba definitely deserves the money. I don't know if he's necessarily like what you'd want for a max player, but like any team's going to pay him the max, so he's going to get that plus all the years he sacrificed in Charlotte. This is a good move for him and a good move for the Celtics because the Celtics will get a player that will buy into their system. Brad Stevens is a fantastic coach, especially when it comes to smaller guards. Look at what he did with Isaiah Thomas and Kyrie Irving. And Kemba, I think, will fit in just well there. I think he's going to mesh well with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who seemed to struggle playing with Kyrie, as Kyrie was really outspoken and probably not the best player to be playing with those young guys. This really sucks for the Hornets as Kemba Walker leaves the Charlotte Hornets in the hands of Jeremy Lamb, who's now their best player. Yeah, we didn't think we'd ever be saying Jeremy Lamb is any team's best player. I mean, yeah, he's taken some steps since he came from the Thunder, but I still would not want to say Jeremy Lamb's my best player. Kyrie Irving is going to go to the Nets on a 4-year, $141 million deal. Got some breaking. Oh, okay, it's this Chris Middleton deal. We're going to talk about the Knicks later. Something just showed up. Anyway, Kyrie signed with the Nets. Now, the Brooklyn Nets got a little, like, they had some cold feet a few weeks or like last week with just Kyrie coming, but it sounds like he won't be the only one coming to the Nets. I'll get into that a little later. Now, his deal is going to go with Kemba's deal and Terry Rozier in a sign and trade deal. And it's not confirmed, but D'Angelo Russell might also be possibly linked to this. But anyway, Kemba is going to go to the Celtics. Kyrie's going to go to the Nets. And Terry Rozier is going to go to the Hornets. And it's reported that he signed a 3-year, $58 million deal. I love this deal for Terry Rozier and for the Hornets too, because at least the Hornets are getting a solid point guard who Terry Rozier could start for a lot of NBA teams. And he has the potential to break out. I mean, if you remember him from the 2018 NBA playoffs, he played very well and kind of had a breakout season. So it'd be nice to see Terry Rozier blossom into the player that he could be. Now moving away from the Nets and Celtics fiasco and Hornets, Nikola Vucevic is going to re-sign with the Magic on a 4-year, $100 million deal. This is huge for the Magic as he's like their first all-star to stay there after his contract's been up in several years. As their last all-star left for Los Angeles in 2012, if you remember. That didn't work out too well. Jonas Valanciunas, is going to stay with the Memphis Grizzlies after he turned down, I believe it was his $17 million team option or player option. He will be there for the next 3 years on a $45 million deal. It's not a bad contract for him. Damian Lillard got extended by the Portland Trailblazers with his Supermax, a 4-year, $196 million deal. Damian Lillard definitely deserved to get paid. He really showed that he can be a great player in this league. If you remember the series against the Thunder, he was fantastic. It was so much fun to watch. He's one of my favorite players, and he definitely deserves that. Brook Lopez is going to stay with the Milwaukee Bucks on a 4-year, $52 million deal. That is one option crossed off the Lakers' board if they don't get Kawhi Leonard or another superstar with their max slot that opened up. As Lopez would have been a nice addition to the Lakers as they need shooting badly, especially you want to put shooters around LeBron. It's always worked for him. So Brook Lopez will be staying in the Bucks for a while. It's nice to see Brook Lopez get a home this late in his career as he's kind of turned into a spot up shooter, stretch 5. And he was fantastic last season, especially in the playoffs. I think one game he went for 29 points, something like that. Could have been more. I can't remember, but he was fantastic, and I like to see that the Bucks are getting their players back. Here's a big one. KD is reportedly going to sign a 4-year, $142 million deal with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, remember, of course, he tore his Achilles, so he will most likely not play this season, but the Nets will have him the next 3. I think if anyone can come back from an Achilles tear, it's going to be Kevin Durant. I think he's too good at basketball, too gifted offensively for a major decline in his athletic ability and his effectiveness on the offensive end. Another good veteran pickup for the Nets is Garrett Temple will sign a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Nets. So that will add some depth around the shooting guard, point guard slot. This is a lot smaller on the other end. I haven't had time to look him up, but Nicolo Melli is going to sign a 2-year deal with the Pelicans. Not a lot of details. on that. I believe he was the leading scorer for the EuroLeague finals. So I mean, he could be a good piece for the Pelicans moving forward. I don't know too much about him, so I'm really can't say. Dwight Powell got a 3-year extension from the Dallas Mavericks worth $33 million. $33 million. He will likely play behind Kristaps Porzingis next season, or depending on how they set up their starting lineup, he could start at the power forward and move Porzingis to the center. Klay Thompson is getting a 5-year, $190 million deal with the Golden State Warriors. This is not a shocker at all. He was obviously going to get this deal from the Warriors. The Warriors would be foolish not to offer him that. And anyone that thought that there's a chance he was going to the Clippers or Lakers, you're kidding yourselves. That was never going to happen. Dwayne Dedmon is going to sign a 3-year, $40 million deal with the Sacramento Kings. He's going to leave the Atlanta Hawks. That's a really good veteran pickup for the Kings, as the Kings could be a contender for a playoff spot next season in the West. They were close this year, but in the final few weeks, they kind of fell out of contention. Another deal for the Kings, Harrison Barnes is going to sign a 4-year, $83 million deal with Sacramento after he turned down, I think it was his $25 million player option for next season. So this deal is less than what he would have gotten from the Kings or if he picked up his player option. However, I mean, I think they overpaid for him a little bit, but it's a good move for Barnes because who knows what would have happened next season, like how much or how big of a contract he would have gotten had he picked up his player option. So he's still making about just over $20 million a year. Former Kings forward, well, he's been with Spurs the last 2 seasons. Rudy Gay is going to stay with the Spurs for another 2 years on a $32 million deal. I think it's a great move. Rudy Gay is a fantastic player for the Spurs. The Spurs window for a title with Greg Popovich, I believe, has definitely closed because Lamarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan aren't getting it done in the West. Aldridge is getting older. Gay's getting older. DeMar DeRozan's just not as... He's not like... He would probably be a fantastic number 2 to a championship team, but I don't think he can be the number 1. But again, it was a good pickup or a good retention by the Spurs. So as of right now, that is all the confirmed deals. Now, obviously, there are some deals where it's rumored like, oh, this player is definitely going to go there. So we're going to get into a few of those right now. Also, if anything big happens, we might have a call into the show via Antonio Calabrese. He hasn't been on the show in a while, or the podcast, whatever, if you're watching or if you're just listening. So, yeah, it's kind of hard with Chad and Antonio being so far away from me during the school year or during the summer. And especially since like our work schedules are so different. Like I'm working 10-hour days, so it's hard for me to even do these. I really I'm only able to do these on the weekend, and I'm trying to do more of them, but it's just tough as you get. So let's get into the rumors. Seth Curry is linked to the Lakers. The Lakers are looking at Seth Curry. He'd be a great veteran shooter to add to the team. Definitely someone LeBron James would love to have. He definitely would spread the floor. Jimmy Butler, this is a big one. He's linked to several teams. The Miami Heat and Houston Rockets of late have interest in a sign and trade deal with the 76ers. And basically what that would lead to is Butler going into the 76ers saying, hey, I don't want to re-sign here. I want to play with the Heat or I want to play with the Rockets. So it's either I walk and go somewhere else or you trade me and you get something out of me. Now, I would like to see Butler stay with the Sixers, as I feel like you give that group another year under their belts of playing together, and they could develop into a threat to make the finals. I I thought they could have made the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but Toronto, I think, surprised a lot of us and just how great Kawhi Leonard was at carrying that team. So anyway, it seems like he wants to play with the Heat. As what I saw today, he told the Heat he has interest in playing there and that he wants to play there. The Rockets really wanted him. I don't know how I feel about that move, especially with pairing alphas like James Harden, Chris Paul, and Jimmy Butler together. Feel like that's mixing water and oil, and that just would not be good, especially with all the rumored dysfunction that's in the Houston Rockets franchise currently. I think the Heat would be interesting, even though I did see something today where there was a magazine. It was when Butler was 23, so I think it was like his first or second year in the league, and it said like one thing he'd never wear, and it would be a Miami Heat jersey. And I'm looking at it now like, oh damn, that sucks, because I'm still a Butler fan, and it'd just be weird seeing him in a Heat jersey. I'm still very like, yeah, the Big Three era in Miami's over, so I don't dislike the Heat as much as I used to. In fact, Dwayne Wade's one of my favorite players, so there's that. And it'd be cool to see Butler follow in the footsteps of one of his best friends and former teammates. It's just so weird for me seeing a former Chicago Bull play for the Heat. So I don't know how I feel about that one. I think it would be cool for Butler to play for the Rockets, chemistry issues aside, just because he's from the Houston area. And it'd be nice to see Butler go to a contender with a legitimate shot to make the NBA Finals. But I don't think it'd work. Now, other teams he's been linked to are the Lakers, Nets, and Clippers. The Lakers, I would hate to see him play with LeBron, so I hope that doesn't happen. I'm tired of seeing my favorite players play with LeBron James, because LeBron has done so much to impede the movement forward for my Chicago Bulls. So I'm not off court. Love LeBron James. I think he's fantastic for what he does for the game of basketball and just for people in general, like socially. He's a great role model, especially to young black kids and black men. So I think he's fantastic, but I can't stand him on the court. Butler's also been linked to the Nets, but I don't think he's being looked at by them anymore. And the Clippers are interested in Butler because Butler and Kawhi have reportedly talked about wanting to play together. And the Clippers would have to bring in Jimmy Butler most likely to land Kawhi Leonard at this point. So I'd like to see arguably the two best defensive wings in the NBA on the same team. That would be insane. And could you imagine if they kept Pat Beverly? So you got a backcourt of Jimmy Butler and Pat Beverly. And then Shai Gilgeous Alexander is also really lengthy. And then you got Kawhi Leonard at the 3. Oh, I would love to see that. Moving on, Bojan Bogdanovic is linked to the Jazz, as the Jazz are looking to build, to turn themselves into a contender in the West. Of course, the West is really competitive, but with them trading for Mike Conley, who is, I'm going to just say he's an all-star level point guard, so I think is a fantastic pickup, especially with two-time reigning defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert, and rising star in Donovan Mitchell. I think he'd be a fantastic addition to that team. D'Angelo Russell has been linked to the Suns, Timberwolves, and Lakers. The Lakers seem less likely now because I've heard reports that if they don't land Kawhi, they're going to do what I think they should do and build a team so they're not top heavy with signing vets like Seth Curry, JJ Redick, all those guys. Marcus Morris would be another good option for them. But the Suns really want him. Devin Booker's been wanting to play with him since I think during the playoffs. There's a picture of him wearing a D'Angelo Russell jersey, I believe. And then Karl Anthony Towns is pushing for D'Angelo Russell to be traded to the Timberwolves. So that'd have to be a sign and trade likely with the Nets. I assume Andrew Wiggins would be the one shipped out, but he's playing on a $27 million a year contract. Don't know how you're going to get rid of that. That's going to be tough. That's a tough sell. The Timberwolves definitely need to shake it up because it didn't work with Jimmy Butler, didn't work with Derrick Rose. They have two young stars, or at least Wiggins was headed in that direction. They have Jeff Teague, who's regressed since Atlanta, and they're really going nowhere. And it concerns me because they have arguably one of the best bigs in the game, and Wiggins is just not developing. So they have to do something or blow it up. Pat Beverly has been linked to the Lakers, Clippers, Bulls. As a Bulls fan, I would love to see Patrick Beverly play for Chicago. I think he's the veteran that the Bulls need because he'd get them to play defense. He'd show them like what it takes to play hard. I would love nothing more for Pat Beverly to come to Chicago and play with those young guys. He's from Chicago. He's got that toughness, that grit. I think it'd be fantastic. I mean, Chicago doesn't have the best history with Bulls or with the Bulls taking kids from Chicago and having them play. Really, the only one that panned out well was Derrick Rose until his injuries, and then him getting thrown out of Chicago, sadly. Dwayne Wade was just to fill seats. I mean, he was exciting, but like, he really didn't move the needle too much, and it was a retool that just essentially wasted a year for Chicago. And then obviously we all know the Jabari Parker experiment didn't last too long. But so for the Lakers, I think Pat Beverly would be a great veteran pickup, although I am not crazy on him and LeBron's chemistry because Patrick Beverly still has a chip on his shoulder from getting thrown out of the NBA because the Heat needed more cap space to pick up LeBron. So he's always kind of had a grudge against LeBron James. I would like to see him go back to the Clippers, if not the Bulls. I think he was fantastic there, especially in the playoffs. And it'd just be good to see those Clippers continue their run with who they have and hopefully pick up a star like Kawhi Leonard for their sake. Tobias Harris has been linked to the Nets, although that seems less likely with all the news coming out of Brooklyn with Kyrie and Kevin Durant and another player I'm going to talk about in a little bit. I think he's going to re-sign with the 76ers. And I'm looking at everything now. And on my last video, I had all these predictions. And like this week, I was questioning almost every single one of them because with the Lakers opening up a cap space and KD being to the Nets now, not going to the Knicks, and not staying in Golden State, obviously, now, which Golden State seems like they're completely out of the running. I heard Steph Curry and Steve Kerr would go talk to him, but I don't know if that's happened yet or what good that would do. And in fact, I'm shocked that Kevin Durant has even announced that he's going to go anywhere, like that he's announcing today what he's going to do. I actually followed that Instagram page. What is the name of it real quick? The Boardroom. They are reportedly going to be the ones that are going to give out where Kevin Durant's going. And when I started following them, they only had 92,000 followers. Now they have 1,000, and that was only an hour ago. So, hey, good way to build your Instagram following base on Instagram. Talk to an NBA player and get them to announce their free agency news on your Instagram. I mean, I tried. Like I tried to talk to Kyrie. I tried to talk to like Brooke Lopez, Kemba, all those guys, but didn't get any response back. So I guess I couldn't get anyone to reveal where they were going in free agency on my Instagram. I guess we'll try next year. Whatever. I tried. Chris is going to end back with the Sixers. I do see though the Knicks making a push for him because in the past Tobias Harris talked about possibly playing with the Knicks because he's from New York. But who knows? This one scares the life out of me. Malcolm Brogdon has been linked to the He's been linked to the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls would offer him a near max deal, according to reports. And that scares the life out of me because, yes, Brogdon's a good player. He just entered the 50-40-90 club in his second season in the league. But he is not worth that money. I don't like Malcolm Brogdon at $25 million. I don't like him at $20 million. I would take him maybe at $15 million. But we have Zach LaVine. We just got a point guard in the draft, and we still have Chris Dunn. I don't understand what the point would be in signing Malcolm Brogdon. So I hope the Bucks pick him back up. I like him with the Bucks. I want the Bucks to keep all their pieces because I want them to be a contender in the East next year. I want them to push for the finals. I don't want to see the Bulls chew up more of their cap space needlessly because what we would sign him for a 4-year deal, and then we're trapped with that on our books for 4 years. And I don't think he won't live up to that contract. I know he won't. We're paying Otto Porter Jr. $27 million a year for what? Yeah, he's a fine player, but is he worth $27 million? No. So I don't want to see the Bulls end up with any more of these bloated contracts. JaVale McGee has been linked to the Houston Rockets. He expressed interest with potentially going back to the Lakers, although that seems unlikely. I think this deal would only happen if Clint Capella trade went down, where he's shipped off to wherever he would go. He's been linked to the Kings in the event of what would most likely be a Jimmy Butler sign and trade deal, as the Rockets would have to clear cap space. But yeah, that deal probably won't happen unless something happens with Jimmy Butler. Al Horford has been linked to the Celtics, Kings, and Pelicans. Especially, it's interesting with the Celtics. Over the last couple days, it seems like he is not going to go there. All right, so the Knicks are chasing their next free agent after likely not signing KD and Kemba and Kyrie and basically anyone else you can think of. To go in for Reggie Bullock. Not the consolation prize you want. I guess they're trying to build their depth. He's a solid shooter, but I mean, doesn't really move the needle for me. And I'm sure it doesn't really move the needle for Knicks fans either. Let's see. Where was I? All right. Al Horford. Yes. So earlier today, people thought that the Celtics are the mystery team that are still in the running for retaining Horford. But I heard that broke down earlier this afternoon. So he's probably not going back to the Celtics. The Kings are making a big push for him, but they're not very optimistic that he's going to go there. The Pelicans have been really the only other team I've seen, and I think he is going to sign there. I think it'd be great for the Pelicans. It adds another great veteran leader for the team in partnership with Drew Holiday. So the Pelicans, honestly, if they pick up Horford, that shoots them up in terms of like contention for the playoffs. I do actually think the Pelicans are going to make the playoffs next year. I mean, it's not that bold of a take, but I think they will. Enes Kanter has been linked to the Celtics, Lakers, Blazers, and Bulls. Obviously, the Celtics and Bulls would sign him as like some backup depth. I don't know why the Bulls are so interested. I really don't know what the Bulls are doing, to be honest, because, I mean, a few weeks ago, we were about to trade our cornerstone player, Lauri Markkanen, for Chris Paul. So, yeah, and the Rockets were the ones that backed that deal, so what does that tell you? So I don't know what the Bulls would be doing with that. He'd be a great pickup for the Lakers as he's going to give you about 17 points per game a night, so that'd be another offensive weapon to throw onto that team. However, that really doesn't improve their shooting so much. So, I think he'd be fine with the Celtics. They could use the depth. And I would like to see him actually go back to the Portland Trailblazers. The only problem with the Trailblazers is cap space. They don't have a lot of it. So they'd have to make some moves if they want to keep him. And Kanter actually talked about that on the Herd. He was on Colin Cowherd's radio show a few days ago when he was talking about like Westbrook and talking about Zion and stuff like that. He said he'd love to go back to the Blazers, but he said it's up to the Blazers if they want to pay him, which is understandable. So I hope he goes back to the Blazers, but there's a lot of options out there for him. DeAndre Jordan, this is the big piece of Nets news I was going to tell you, is reportedly going to sign with the Nets. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't think they have enough cap space for both KD, Kyrie. I mean, the sign and trade with Kyrie helps. But I don't know. They might have to move some pieces around, which is most likely going to happen. All right, I'm going to clip the podcast right here because we're approaching 29 minutes and it stops recording after 30. So we're going to clip that. All right, we got to change the microphone. It makes me reset the Yeti every single time. I don't know why. Welcome back if you're listening on Anchor or Spotify or wherever you're listening to this podcast. We are, I just was going over DeAndre Jordan going to the Nets, making arguably the next big three in the NBA. I think that'd make the Nets really exciting next year because obviously they're not going to have KD if he does sign there. So it is 5:03. That means we're 3 minutes past the start. And Kemba is officially joining the Celtics on that 4-year, $141 million deal with Boston. I love that move for Boston. It's a great turnaround after losing Kyrie. It's probably going to be part of the sign and trade deal. I am heartbroken for Michael Jordan and the Charlotte Hornets, though, as the Hornets are watching the greatest player in franchise history leave. They've had to watch several of their stars leave in the years. Kemba is really the first star in the second coming of the Charlotte Hornets since they've been the Charlotte Bobcats. They have not drafted well. They have not been able to keep players. They haven't been able to sign free agents. And that was a big problem during Kemba's tenure there, as they were never able to really give him a supporting cast. I think they only made the playoffs twice. Once in 2014 while they're still the Bobcats. And I think they made it in 2016. I could be wrong, or maybe it was 2017. Really can't remember. Might have been 2017. So a new era begins in Charlotte as a new era begins in Boston. Obviously, Boston's is a lot brighter than Charlotte's currently. I think I don't really know what the Hornets are going to do because they really don't have a prospect that that really pushes them over or like gives them a direction. I can't remember who they drafted. It's either PJ Washington, but I feel like he was drafted by the Heat. Oh, it's one of them in the mock drafts had PJ Washington. I can't remember if it's the Heat or Hornets, but PJ Washington, if he's on the Hornets, isn't someone that's like you're going to build your team around. He's more of a piece. I don't know what Charlotte's going to do. They don't have any cap space. They still have Nicholas Batum's monster contract. They have Bismack Biyombo's monster contract. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. So yeah, getting back to the Nets, really, they should be exciting even without KD next year with DeAndre Jordan and Kyrie and some semblance of what was left of the Nets dancing bench mob, whatever you want to call them. We have Kawhi Leonard. Oh, this is big. Breaking news. According to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, JJ Redick is leaving the 76ers. He's going to sign a 2-year, $26.5 million deal with New Orleans. New Orleans signing a lot of veterans. I really like this. This is what you want. You want to build veterans again around your young core. It helps them grow. And at the same time, it builds culture with a team that hasn't had a lot of success. The Pelicans are kind of getting scary. I really like this. I mean, also being kind of a fan of the 76ers core, this concerns me. They're going to take a tumble. And I was going to break into my top 10 teams for likely finals odds. Obviously, I did my top 10 as of yesterday with all the rosters being intact aside from the trades that have happened. and obviously the draft. I'm gonna have to do a lot of moving around now that it's been 5 o'clock. I'm gonna break into my rankings after I go through free agency players, and then I'm gonna try to reorder it on the fly. I'm gonna probably do a daily update of my title odds and my top 10 free agents. My top 10 free agents I had are Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard. You can swap them however you like. I thought about playing Leonard number one, but I still think Durant's the better player, even after his Achilles tear. Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Kemba Walker, Jimmy Butler, Al Horford, Tobias Harris, D'Angelo Russell, and Nikola Vucevic. Those are my top 10 free agents. And obviously, most of them are coming off the board. So we're going to have a new top 10 tomorrow. Really, the only player that will still be up there is possibly Al Horford, possibly Tobias Harris, possibly D'Angelo Russell. Is basically everyone else tied up to a team. Oh, possibly Kawhi Leonard. We don't really know what he's doing yet, which is who I was going to break into next. Kawhi Leonard has been linked to the Clippers, Raptors, the Nets, which is unlikely now. I heard a little bit of rumblings from the Knicks and the Lakers. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the Lakers. I like the brand. I loved Kobe. Kyle Kuzma is one of my favorite players. It's hard to cheer for them because LeBron's there. For me, I do like Anthony Davis, although I don't like that LeBron, a top 5 player to play with. But this scares me. I like the Lakers. It would be cool to see a Lakers championship. Don't get me wrong. Even though it would come at the expense of LeBron winning another championship, which I wouldn't like to see because I'm not a LeBron basketball player fan. But if they, oh my God, they opened up another max slot. If Kawhi Leonard signs with the Lakers, that's it. That is the greatest big three of all time. LeBron is arguably still the best player in the league. Kawhi could arguably be the best player in the league. Anthony Davis is arguably a top 5 player in the league. There's never been a collection of talent that good. I don't care. Like many people say, no! Oh, it happened. I was going to get into it a little bit later. Derrick Rose signs with the Detroit Pistons. Some of you may be thinking I'm mad because he's not re-signing with Chicago. I mean, I'm a little upset, but I knew he wasn't going to sign with Chicago. I knew that. Oh, YouTube comments. LeBron is not a good role model. You're kidding yourself. He's a great role model. Where's Kawhi going? I'll get into that. Anything else? AD is a quitter. A little bit, yeah. But I can't blame him. The Pelicans haven't been able to build around him. All right, anyway. I saw, and I was going to get into actually right after the Kawhi Leonard thing. Derrick Rose has been linked to the Detroit Pistons. And Derrick Rose is my favorite player. And he deserves to get paid. It's going to be a 2-year, $15 million deal, which I think that is low for him, like for what I thought he was going to get. I thought it was going to be around a 2-year deal. But, I mean, with what the space the Pistons had, it's not too low. I just thought he'd get more. I hate the Pistons. I'm a Bulls fan. They're a division rival. We have a history with them that's not great. I mean, I don't hate the players that are on the Pistons. Like, I like Blake Griffin. I like Andre Drummond. I don't like the organization because they're the Pistons. They kicked our ass in the 80s and early 90s. And then we came back and kicked their ass and then broke them apart. And nothing really happened with them until Grant Hill came, and then Grant Hill fell, and then we fell, and then they won in 2004 and went back to the finals in 2005. But first, I had to watch Derrick Rose play with LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that sucked because, again, Cleveland's a division rival. LeBron James is a rival of the Bulls and not my favorite player. And now Rose is playing for another division rival. Like, I'd be okay with the Bucks. Yes, they're a division rival, but Wisconsin has a soft spot in my heart, and so does the Bucks because they're Milwaukee. They're a close team. I like Giannis. So I would have been okay with that. Not that he would have gone to the Bucks, but that's a team in our division I wouldn't have minded. I also wouldn't have minded if he went to the Pacers. I used to actually like the Pacers because I'm a big Paul George fan. But Derrick Rose to the Pistons. Why the Cavs and the Pistons? The two division rivals out of any of them you could have gone to. I knew you weren't coming back to the Bulls. I mean, I think you will one day, but the Pistons? That sucks. That sucks for me. Good for Derrick Rose. He got paid. You're going to a team that made the playoffs last season and is very likely to make the playoffs again. You're going to be playing with Blake Griffin. You're going to be playing with Andre Drummond, two fantastic players. I like this move for Derrick Rose from a basketball standpoint. I don't like it from a Bulls fan standpoint. And I guess also from a Derrick Rose fan standpoint. Okay, it's official. Kristaps Porzingis is staying with the Dallas Mavericks on a 5-year, $158 million deal. It's going to be interesting to see what Dallas does with their 2 European forwards going forward. I'm excited for them. Dallas could recover from the end of the Dirk era. So there's a new era in Dallas. One of Dirk's disciples will be staying there. All right, where were we? Yes. So Kawhi Leonard, back to Kawhi. This is where Kawhi's going. Well, actually, no one knows where Kawhi's going. I hope he stays with the Raptors. If not, goes to the Clippers. I don't want to see him to go to the Lakers. Kawhi Leonard defeated the Golden State Warriors. He ended that dynasty. That dynasty's over. Yes, Klay Thompson's going to come back, but Klay Thompson's going to be out for most of next year. So who knows what's going to happen to the Warriors next year. And he ended the Miami Heat dynasty. He ended the Spurs dynasty indirectly, but intentionally in a way. And so now we finally have parity in the league. I've been wanting this. I hated seeing the Warriors and Cavs going to the finals every single year. I was tired of it. I wanted you to throw a little Celtics green or Rockets red into the finals. But no, I had to watch the Warriors and Cavs 4 years in a row. Thankfully, LeBron went west, so we didn't have to see the Cavs in the finals again. But oh, look, the Warriors add DeMarcus Cousins, guaranteeing them a trip to the finals, and we all thought they're going to win the championship then. And Kawhi Leonard ended that. And Cousins is not going to stay there on another $5 million a year contract. Klay Thompson tore his ACL. He's going to be out most of the year. KD's going to be out the entire season with his Achilles tear and most likely will not be returning there. And so it's like, okay, the Warriors have come back down to earth. Now the rest of the NBA has a chance to make it interesting. And, oh, God, if Kawhi goes to the Lakers, that's so, like, anti-Kawhi Leonard. He's not about the flash. He's not about playing with LeBron. You're playing with the guy that you won the finals MVP in 2014 because you're playing and guarding LeBron James. And you're going to play with him? Oh, God, that just ruins the NBA. That ruins the NBA if he goes to the Lakers. So I hope it's the Clip. I'd rather see him go to the Knicks. The Knicks are a dumpster fire, and I'd rather see him go to the Knicks just for parity. So I hope he goes to the Raptors. It'd be nice to see Toronto have a chance to keep a star for once, and see him go on another. Oh, big news! All right, so this is what we were waiting for. I am heading to the boardroom right now. Here, I'm gonna play some audio. Oh, it's just playing music. So Kevin Durant is to sign with the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant has confirmed he will sign a max deal with the Brooklyn Nets when the free agent moratorium period ends on July 6th. So you heard it here. The boardroom confirmed it. It's not as much as a surprise as it was before because it leaked a few hours ago what the deal would be. But this is still huge. The Golden State Warriors dynasty is officially over. It's done. We have parity in the league. Well, at least for now, depending on what Kawhi Leonard does. Now, Kevin Durant obviously will not be playing the first year in Brooklyn. But Kyrie has achieved his mission. Him and Durant will be playing together in New York, not with the Knicks, but in Brooklyn with the Nets. I'm fine with this. I mean, Durant's gonna be making money that he would have been in Golden State, but hey, that's good for all of us because we don't have to see the Warriors. We don't have to see the Warriors in the finals every year. I mean, I'm not saying they can't make the finals. I wish they could, but it won't be like, oh, so who are the Warriors going to walk through this time? So that's good. And hey, good for KD. This could be his chance to do it as the man. Because Kevin Durant, obviously, he's really cares about what people think about him. Breaking news: Terrence Ross, a very under the radar free agent, is going to stay with the Magic on a 4-year, $54 million deal. I like this. I think he's a great veteran piece for the Magic. The Magic really don't have a great direction, and they don't have the pieces that are going to make him a contender. But at least they're keeping players, which that says a lot for the Magic because they've not been able to do that since Dwight Howard left. The Knicks aren't going to get anybody. I agree. They have nobody. M71408. I hope Kawhi goes to the Clippers or stays in Toronto as well. As most NBA fans, I feel like. Great. Let's see how the Facebook stream's doing. I hope Kawhi Leonard comes back to the Raptors, Matt. But who knows what's going to happen there? No one really knows what Kawhi Leonard's going to do. Moving on from Kawhi Leonard. So DeMarcus Cousins has been linked to the New York Knicks as a potential destination. And I want to pull something up. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I'm going to go on to Stephen A. Smith's Instagram because he gave us one of the greatest sound bites in history.
No. Hell no. For what? No.
I'm going to listen to it a second time.
No. For what?
That is Stephen A. Smith on ESPN First Take a few days ago when the Knicks are looking at other options as there's growing doubt that Kevin Durant wasn't going to sign there. So, I mean, the deal makes sense for Cousins as it would probably be a short-term deal, but it'd be more than what the Warriors could offer. And it would be a chance to prove himself as a talent in this league. And obviously, for good reason, Stephen A. Smith, a Knicks fan, was not happy with that. Understandable. But yes, Knicks fans, you're missing out again on free agency. You're not going to get anybody. Don't kid yourselves. I mean, you could get DeMarcus Cousins or Tobias Harris, but it's a far cry from Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, I can tell you that. So yes. All right. I already covered Derrick Rose. You know my thoughts on that. Not thrilled, but hey, he's getting money. So now I'm going to talk about the Lakers. If the Lakers missed out on Kawhi Leonard, they missed out on Kyrie, they need to sign veterans. They missed out on JJ Redick already. Two players that have been linked to the Los Angeles Lakers are LeBron's former teammates and I don't really know what you'd call their relationship beyond teammate because in 2 years ago now, the finals, actually technically it's a year ago, but 2 seasons ago now, as we're now officially in 2019-2020 NBA season, J.R. Smith gave us one of the greatest LeBron James still images of all time of like LeBron just going like when J.R. Smith dribbled out the ball, not realizing that the game was tied with seconds left where they could have thrown up a shot. So J.R. Smith is one of LeBron's former teammates. I guess they do have a decent relationship still to where the Lakers would consider signing him. J.R. Smith, as you may recall, only played 11 games for the Cavs this season. He was essentially benched so the Cavs could play their younger players. I mean, I think it's a move they need to do. Smith can be a good shooter when he's shooting well. He's streaky, but I think it would be a decent veteran pickup for the Lakers. I think he fits a lot better than a lot of the one-year deals we saw with the Lakers last season. The second player would be Carmelo Anthony, who, if you recall, also only played a handful of games last season. He played 10 games with the Rockets before being traded to the Chicago Bulls. Yes, he joined my Chicago Bulls 4 years too late. Should have came to Chicago in 20. If you came to the Bulls, we probably would have won a title because we had. Actually, I don't think Paul Gasol would have been there, but we had Derrick Rose, who played well, and Jimmy Butler, who broke out, and Joakim Noah, who was okay but kind of fell off a little bit, and we would have had a title. We would have beat Cleveland in the second round, which we should have beat Cleveland in the second round, but the refs gave away the game in game 4. They gave Cleveland an extra timeout so LeBron could hit that shot. And the fell apart from there, and Cleveland beat us in 6. But this would actually, an interesting fact, this would be the third team that, if both players go there, that J.R. Smith and Carmelo Anthony would be a part of together. They played with each other in Denver, if you can remember. They played with Allen Iverson in Denver when Melo was on the Nuggets. And then Melo was traded to the Knicks. I can't remember. I think J.R. Smith was also part of that trade, but I can't remember. Actually, he might have gone there on his own. I don't remember. But then they were teammates on the Knicks for a number of years, whereas Melo was a star for the Knicks, and J.R. Smith won Sixth Man of the Year. I would love to see Melo get another chance. I don't think Melo is as bad as people say he is. I don't think he's as washed up. Clearly, he's gone back a few steps and regressed, but I still think he'd be a good player. Glad the Bulls did not get him in 2014. I mean, you could look at it and say, what would have happened to the Bulls with Melo? I'm just saying, seeing the way the Bulls fell apart in the end, what would have taken on Melo's contract have hurt at that time. So I just would have liked to see what would have happened. I think we would have had a legit chance at the finals. But then again, we would have gone up against the first iteration of the Golden State Warriors championship team. Would it make sense for the Lakers to sign inconsistent players like J.R. Smith and Melo? I think so, just because it gives them depth. It gives them veterans. And I do think it'd be a great chance for Melo to redeem himself. He'd be playing with his best friend, LeBron James. So I think it would work out. I feel like LeBron would help make Melo better and help turn Melo's career around, or at least extend it. Because as it stands right now, if Melo doesn't return to the NBA, LeBron James is the sole member of the 2003 NBA draft. Everyone drafted behind him is retired, except for Carmelo Anthony. With Dwayne Wade's retirement, that's it. Chris Bosh is gone. Dwayne Wade's gone. Darko Milicic has been gone for a while. Tobias Harris. Why did I say Tobias Harris? I was going to say Kirk Heinrich. Why did I mix up Tobias Harris and Kirk Heinrich? I don't know why. Maybe it's the H. Kirk Heinrich's gone. Steve Blake's gone. Chris Kamen's gone. All those players, they're all gone. They're all retired. LeBron and potentially Melo are the sole members of that draft. So, yeah, I think the Lakers should go for vets. This is a little biased just because I don't want to see Kawhi end up with the Lakers and ruin the parity of the league. But I think the Lakers would be better served on building their roster with a bunch of vets, because as it stands right now, they literally only have like 5 players on the roster. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kyle Kuzma, the sole survivor of the 2018 Los Angeles Lakers, because everyone else is gone. Alex Caruso and some other. Their 2019 draft pick. I believe those are the only 5 players officially on the Lakers roster as it stands right now. We're going to go back over to the Facebook stream to see if anyone else is commenting. Nope, just Matt Misner. I don't know who you are, but hey, other people are seeing the stream, so that's good. Outside my friends list. Rondo actually is not officially on the Lakers roster. I could very well see Rondo return to the Lakers, which is weird for me because, I mean, he's a Celtic. I see Rondo as a Celtic still, and I always get weirded out when the Celtics go to the Lakers and vice versa. Lakers go to the Celtics. It's usually the Celtics go to the Lakers, I feel like. I don't feel like Laker players really go to the Celtics. But, I mean, really, who would want to leave LA for Boston in terms of, like, I've lived in the Midwest my whole life, and I can tell you, Boston could be colder. I've never been to Boston before, but I bet it's colder than Illinois gets in the winter. And I've been to LA though, and I can tell you, I was there, and when I left to come home, I didn't want to ever leave again. And in fact, I might go out and live in LA someday. I sure, unless I get a job with the Chicago Bulls or something, I sure as hell am not staying here. Yeah, so Rondo is not officially part of the Lakers. He had a 1-year deal with the team, so he's not currently on the roster, although he could very well return there. All right, let's see. Oh, all right. So here's a report. It said KD told the Warriors he's leaving. Durant and his business manager met with Bob Myers, who is the GM, today to deliver the news that he was leaving. Whoa. Okay. So this is a surprising deal. Al-Farouq Aminu is leaving Portland. He's going to sign a 3-year, $29 million deal with the Orlando Magic. Another great veteran addition to the Orlando Magic. Houston native Gerald Green will be staying with the Houston Rockets. He agreed to a 1-year deal. It's probably near veterans minimum. I like that. I feel like Gerald Green has been a great player for the Houston Rockets. Oh, a lot of young teams making some moves. Sacramento extends signs Trevor Ariza, veteran small forward, to a 2-year, $25 million deal. I like that move. They're building some depth in Sacramento. The 76ers want to extend Ben Simmons, and they've reportedly started talks. The first player added to the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls signed Thaddeus Young to a 3-year, $41 million deal. I am okay with this because that's a good contract for Thaddeus Young. We didn't overpay for him. It saps up cap space that we could throw at Malcolm Brogdon, which I like. He's a great veteran player. Like, he's always been consistently solid. I've always liked Thaddeus Young. He's part of like a rare group of players where like he's averaged so many points and so like free throw and field goal percentage. And it's like, it's him, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Larry Bird, I believe, are the 4 players that are included in that group. And it's just funny that Thaddeus Young's part of that, and they're like all Hall of Famers, all top 10 players, and yeah. Okay. So Twitter found an old video of Durant telling a Knicks fan he'd never join the Knicks. Well, KD made good on that promise today. Oh man, it's a weird era we live in where a talent like Kevin Durant has been on 3 teams and he's only like going to be 32. It's a weird. See, like obviously I've grown up mostly in this era where stars have moved around. Even though when I first started following the NBA, we didn't have this much movement of players, especially superstars. But it's just so weird seeing a player like KD. He's on his 3rd team. Like, that's just crazy. Jimmy Butler's going to be on his 4th team, most likely. Derrick Rose is on his 5th team. Like, wow. It's just crazy to me. All right. So, where was I? We're talking Lakers, and I think I stopped. All right. Let's go back to the comment section. Should the Lakers re-sign JaVale McGee? I think so. I mean, he was one of the bright spots for the Lakers this season. I thought he played really well. And I think he definitely earned a contract somewhere for his play with the Lakers. So I would like to see the Lakers re-sign JaVale McGee. I think people took JaVale McGee a lot more seriously as a player after his run with the Warriors and now when he played with the Lakers. I don't remember. I don't know who you're saying, who you wanted to make the playoffs. I can't remember who I was talking about. Maybe it was the Magic because I was talking about them, or it could have been Sacramento. Andre Drummond is hyped for Derrick Rose as he welcomes the point guard to Detroit in a tweet. I'm not as hyped as you, Andre Drummond. I mean, I'm hyped that Derrick Rose is getting a decent deal, although it's a lot lower than I thought it would be. But I'm just glad. Hey, honestly, after what happened with Cleveland, I am honestly glad to see Derrick Rose is going to be in the NBA into the next decade. I loved what happened with him in the Timberwolves. I cried the night he dropped 50 points. Like, it got to me. because I was at work. It was Halloween night, and I'm washing dishes. I worked at the time. I was at a restaurant called Beef Shack. It's owned by Rosati's. If you're from the Chicagoland area, you obviously know what Rosati's is. And if you can find one, I definitely recommend going to a Beef Shack. The food's fantastic. It's almost like a Portillo's, if you know what a Portillo's is. Anyway, so I'm washing dishes, and I get my phone's blowing up with stuff, and it's like I get notifications and texts from my friends because everyone, if you know me, you know I'm a big Derrick Rose fan. So I was getting texts from my friends that's saying like, "Oh, dude, check the news. Like Derrick Rose is 35 right now." Oh, I caught it just in time. 29 minutes. We're gonna clip that. So we're clipping on the Anchor podcast, and then we're gonna record another segment. Got to switch back to the Yeti mic. This is gonna be a long podcast today, but it's the first day of free agency, so it's okay. So Derrick Rose had 35, and I'm like, oh, I'm hyped. I'm sitting there in the restaurant. I'm like, I wish I could go home and watch the game right now. Like Derrick Rose is 35 points, and at this time, like Derrick Rose came off like a playoff run with the Timberwolves where he averaged like 10 a game, and Rose averaging 10 a game at the time was encouraging. I mean, he almost fell out of the league that season. So, and obviously the season just started. More free agency news broke. Bojan Bogdanovic is going to Utah, and we have a caller. All right, welcome Antonio Calabrese to the podcast.
Hello, everyone.
What's up, Antonio? How's it going?
Well, it's not the best day, but I think it just got worse.
Why is that?
It's not official, but I think I just read something that said the Bulls just signed Thaddeus Young.
You don't like that move. It is official.
I don't.
All right, tell me your thoughts on it.
Our whole team is power forwards and centers. Why are we signing more forwards? We need fucking point guards.
Well, actually, as our roster stands right now, I believe Lauri Markkanen is our only true power forward. And he can also slot in at the small forward position, which we do have some depth there, but I think it's a great veteran pickup, honestly. And we didn't overpay for him.
I think the contract is too goddamn big, though.
Oh, the Suns are signing Ricky Rubio to let me check this real quick, a 3-year, $51 million deal. So I actually like this deal for Phoenix. They finally have a true point guard on their roster now.
Malcolm Brogdon just signed to the Pacers.
Oh, so he signed an offer sheet with the Pacers.
Yes, let me see. 4-year, $85 million.
Wow. All right, so that's good news for Bulls fans. That means we won't be overpaying for Malcolm Brogdon. That is good news for us.
We're going to overpay for Thaddeus Young. As much as I like the guy.
No, it's not a bad contract. I think it's only around 11 or 12 a year. That's not bad. But I think with that means Taj isn't coming back to Chicago now.
Oh, correct. Yes.
I don't think it's a bad contract. Thaddeus Young's been like a consistent player. Like
he's okay. He's not bad. He's not great. But we need a point guard. Can we just call up Darren Collison like, hey, you want to pull Michael Jordan and come back to Chicago for like 3 more years?
Yeah. But that deal with the Pacers is probably not official yet because we could very well see. Oh, yeah. It's a trade.
And what?
It's a trade. The Bucks traded with the Pacers.
Huh.
Okay, I thought he was signing an offer sheet.
That's what I thought it was.
And I thought the Bucks were probably going to match. Okay, so Brogdon agrees to the 4-year deal, $85 million with the Bucks and the Pacers, and then the Bucks trade him to the Pacers. I would, you know who I would love to talk to right now? Jimmy Ruddle. I have to talk to him later. I want to see what his thoughts are on that.
True Bucks fan.
Yeah.
Did you see the Derrick Rose news?
What do you think?
I think it's hilarious.
I already ranted about that. I'm in the middle of my Derrick Rose Timberwolves story right now.
He's trying to play for every team in our division.
Yes. He was actually linked to the Pacers, which is funny earlier in the year. Now, I will have to say about Brogdon going to the Pacers, it's a good move for the Pacers, as in now they have a really good backcourt when Victor Oladipo returns.
Mm-hmm.
And they obviously replaced Darren Collison, who retired 2 days ago, to focus on his faith as a Jehovah's Witness.
Yes. Faith's first, basketball second.
All right, I really want to know what the Bucks are getting out of that deal. I'm trying to run through. Okay, so Thaddeus Young left the Pacers, so they lost him. Darren Collison's gone. Who would be part of that deal? Would it be like Aaron Holiday? No, Pacers. I can't see.
It.
I can't see the Bucks wanting to get Aaron Holiday.
Let me take a peek.
It would have to be a solid player for the Bucks, or they're trying to clear cap because they're trying to sign somebody. Who would it? Because the Bucks are contending right now for a championship.
Oh, the Pelicans got JJ Redick for 2 years?
Yep. Yeah. Dude, Pelicans, honestly.
Pelicans, man. New bandwagon team.
Dude. Yeah, there's going to be, well, with Zion being there, obviously, there's going to be a bandwagon for them, but they're looking like a legit team, dude. Like, it's not just a group of young players.
The dumpster fire is slowly burning out.
Slowly. I think that dumpster fire got put out on draft night.
Oh, let's tone it down. Let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Well, dude, they got Zion Williamson, they got Hayes, and I forget who else they got. I feel like they turned that around pretty quickly.
Well, we'll see how it all puts together, because we all thought the Celtics were going to the finals, and look what happened there.
I mean, yeah, but Kyrie, it didn't work. It didn't work. Honestly, I feel like the Celtics would have been better off if they didn't have Kyrie on the roster last season.
Correct.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, here's the news on that trade.
Yep. Oh, Wizards re-sign Thomas Bryant to a 3-year, $25 million deal. I like that.
Hell yeah. Pay the man.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I thought he was going to fall out of the league. He had an unspectacular rookie year with the Lakers. He was their second-round pick. And then he broke out on the Wizards last season. All right.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So
Pacers send first-round pick and 2 future second-round picks.
That's
all I see. And then the sign and trade with Brogdon.
So
I guess they just sent picks.
So it was a cap-clearing move.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, maybe that was so they could afford Brook Lopez, which I understand. Then
him, and they freaking gave Middleton a max,
okay. Yeah, so that's probably what that was. So the Bucks are I can't wait to update my title odds for every team after today.
Oh yeah. Like today and like the next 2 days when
I'm going to try to do a podcast.
Kawhi finally goes somewhere
every day.
Yes.
Yeah, because like there's so much that's happening, and it's mostly going to be to update my top 10. Let's see if anyone's in the Facebook stream. Talk about, hey, well, shout out to Bobby Schutze. How's it going, man? Talk about KD going to Brooklyn. All right, yeah, I can get a little more into KD. Actually, I've kind of glossed over KD just because, even though that's like the biggest like shakeup of today. Yeah, so. Antonio, what are your thoughts on KD going to Brooklyn?
Well, I think it is absolutely hilarious for all you Knicks fans out there.
That is true.
You guys will continue to be the biggest dumpster fire in the NBA, and they will probably not make the playoffs for another decade.
Oh, God, no.
Because they literally, let's see, they didn't get Zion. They got dicked in that.
Their best player is Dennis Smith Jr.
And now they're not getting Kyrie and KD. So I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, my. Wow. That's
It's the year of the little brother. The Nets are getting everyone. Compare the Knicks. I still think the Clippers are going to get Kawhi.
That would be
like,
huge.
Maybe one other person.
That would be huge for the smaller teams in the larger markets with another team already.
Yes.
That'd be a big win for small teams. Yeah. See, for me, with Kevin Durant, he instantly makes the Nets a contender for the 2021 NBA championship. Can't say 2020 because he's not going to play. But
Correct.
I'm really excited to see Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and assuming that the source is correct, DeAndre Jordan going to the Nets. Like,
yeah,
they're going to be good. The Nets are going to be.
Like, that lineup is literally those three, Jared Allen, and I think Spencer Dinwiddie would be the 2 or whatever.
And like this isn't being talked about. And I want to go back on something I said. I said Dennis Smith Jr., while technically he is the best player on the roster, it's most likely going to be RJ Barrett's the best player on the roster. Which maybe it's good that the Knicks miss out on these free agents so RJ Barrett can grow. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Yes. Who knows? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Anyway.
Where do you think Snitch is going to go?
D'Lo? Bold prediction, sign and trade with the Timberwolves. Jeremy Lamb. Oh, no.
Jeremy Lamb, best player on his roster right now?
Oh, no, not anymore. Oh, things are darker in Charlotte than they appeared.
Oh, I saw it earlier. I already forgot who it was.
Jeremy Lamb is signing with Indiana. I forgot he's a free agent.
So their best player is
Terry Rozier.
Their second best player is
Cody
Zeller.
Cody Zeller. Bismack Biyombo? Frank Kaminsky? Yeah, no, I would say it's Cody Zeller.
Shit, Michael Jordan might have to come out of retirement.
All right, breaking news. You heard it here first on Highly Opinionated. Michael Jordan, seeing how free agency's going, he's coming back out of retirement for the third time. He's going to play with the Charlotte Hornets at 56 years old. It was rumored he'd come back at 50, but apparently 50, it was too late. He's coming back at 56. He's going to play for the Charlotte Hornets.
He's going to be like Jackie Moon. He's going to be the owner. He's going to be the coach and a player.
Actually, unfortunately, he'd have to give up his ownership. It's not like the ABA.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Man, poor Charlotte.
Wow, that is disgusting.
I mean, Rozier's not going to be a star, but what?
The Suns will still have a worse record than them.
Well, the Suns are going to have a worse record than... Actually, who knows what's going to happen with the Suns?
Dude, the Suns shouldn't because of how bad the Charlotte team is now.
And also, like...
They will find a way. And I feel so bad for Devin Booker.
But you have to remember,
to get out of there.
Booker and Aiden are on the team, and they're young guys. They're developing. They just signed Ricky Rubio, who's the perfect point guard for them, I feel like, because he's going to get them the ball.
I know. I understand that the pieces are falling in their favor, but they are still the Phoenix Suns, rather, and they will find a way to be that worst team in the league. And it just breaks my heart.
I think unless the Knicks get one of those Julius Randle or DeMarcus Cousins or Tobias Harris signings,
DeMarcus Cousins to the Knicks.
It could happen, dude. It'd be such a Knicks move. And Rodney Hood. Oh! Rodney Hood is returning to the Blazers for a 2-year, $8 million deal. I like that.
Hell yeah.
But no, I could see the Knicks signing Cousins just to say fuck it.
Oh, Knicks.
It would be.
There's 5 teams in the NBA that are just anything they do, it's just there they go again. And then there's literally the bottom is so far down below the medium and higher, the smarter teams. It's just funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Cousins going to the Knicks would just add another like picture of a former NBA star out of his prime in a jersey for the Knicks. Like, have you seen that sheet? It's like Penny Hardaway, Baron Davis, why can't I think Rasheed Wallace, like guys like that, like all these former stars, Tracy McGrady, all in Knicks jerseys. And you just look at that and you're like, huh, that man, the Knicks must have been like insane in the 2000s. Nope.
Nope. Not quite.
Mike Bibby, there's another one. Like,
besides what? Once Melo brought him to the playoffs?
yeah, for like a few seasons with
Haven't
Amari
been
Stoudemire.
relevant since Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, really, the Knicks just have been awful. Like since like the day they traded Patrick Ewing to the, I think it was the Sonics. It's just been over.
You hate to see it.
Oh yes,
like
Jason
that.
Kidd. Although in Jason Kidd's defense, he was in his 40s. So what do you expect out of Jason Kidd?
True.
Yeah, but anyway, going back to KD, this hasn't been highlighted enough, and this is actually KD going to the Nets is a great thing for the NBA, and I'm gonna tell you why. It brings parity. It officially brings parity to the league with him leaving Golden State, and having arguably, even though he won't be there the first year, having arguably the best player in the NBA going to the Eastern Conference after we've seen so many star talents, most notably LeBron James, heading west in recent years. This brings another good team to the forefront for the Eastern Conference. Because now, depending on what happens in Brooklyn or in Boston, you have Boston up there.
Yeah, and we don't know what's going on with Philly because they got to do something with Jimmy and
Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
I still think Philly's going to be good, and I still think Boston's going to be good with whatever happens. I mean, they got Kemba Walker, so obviously they recovered. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal losing Kyrie and getting Kemba. In fact, I think that's going to work better for their system.
Yes.
So you have Boston. You have the Nets now. I'm assuming Kawhi, because in my mind, it's still hopefully 50-50 with him going to Toronto or the Clippers. So I'm going to say for now, you have the Raptors. So you got Brooklyn, you got the Celtics, you got the Raptors. You could have Philly, and the Philly's still a good team with Embiid and Simmons.
Top seed.
You have
it'll be 4.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 the lowest.
Yeah. You have the Bucks. The Pacers,
Gross.
But that is like 5 teams that could go to the finals coming out of the East and have a legitimate chance of winning.
I would not put the Pacers in that discussion.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said, I mean, who knows what's going to happen. But, they lost Bogdanovich. That kind of hurts. And Collison. But they gained Brogdon.
Not put them in that category.
I mean, but still, Victor Oladipo, Miles Turner, Brogdon.
Miles Turner sucked last year.
Yeah, but I just feel like he's eventually going to figure it out. He's a good defender.
Yeah, sure. I'm still waiting for Andrew Wiggins, too.
You got me there. Nuggets are going to extend
One thing I
Jamal
don't
Murray.
Understand is that Boston drafted a point guard. A very good point guard, and now they got Kemba. What the hell is Romeo Langford going to do now?
I don't know. They could play him at shooting guard.
Why? They're probably just going to start Marcus Smart there.
Well, Romeo Langford, I would, like, where the Celtics are, would you want Romeo Langford starting for the Celtics?
Who cares? I think he's good as hell.
But is he...
He's not going to... Okay.
But is he good as hell enough to replace Kyrie Irving and Terry Rozier?
Maybe Terry Rozier and a quarter of Kyrie.
No. I disagree with that.
All right. I think they just should not have drafted him.
See, I like the pick because I foresaw Kyrie leaving, as did the entire world. So I'm like, all right, that's just another option at point guard for them. And at the same time, he could develop into a really good player.
I just feel like he should be on a worse team. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, like for if he wants to like stuff stat sheets, yes, like that would have been ideal for him.
Develop the way he should. Like I think he's good as hell. I think he's amazing.
Well, you also have to remember he fell on draft night. He fell far, a lot farther than I thought.
I mean, what was he picked overall? What was the number?
I think it was like 17th or something like that. I could be wrong.
It was between 14 and that.
I thought he was going lottery.
Yeah.
I thought he was going lottery. I did.
Originally, I think he was supposed to be like somewhere buried in the lottery, but there was like 2 people that got drafted way too early, so that probably had something to do with it.
Cam Johnson to the Suns? Yeah.
That man was supposed to be drafted like
21st.
At the very end of the first round.
He went 10 spots too early.
He might have went even earlier than that, but yeah, like the guy, but who drafted him? Was it the
Suns?
Suns, right? Why does everyone I like go to the Suns? They're just gonna waste their time.
People in my stream are saying Suns don't know what they're doing, and I could not agree more.
They don't know what they're doing. Devin Booker, get out of there. Josh Jackson, get out of there. Cam Johnson, get out of there.
Hey, Devin Booker.
There's one other person that I like that's over there that they just need to leave, get out of that terrible place. I'm going to look up the roster because I can't remember.
Yeah, it's not good in Phoenix. I feel like Phoenix has a very good chance to turn it around. They just, when they have the chance to turn it around, they just fuck it up somehow.
Yeah.
Because, like, you have one of the best shooting guards in the game. I will say that. Devin Booker is one of the best shooting guards in the game. He's a top 10 shooting guard. I don't think it's that bold to say that. And they have one of the next potential great big men in the NBA in DeAndre Ayton, who had a stellar rookie year. He averaged, 16 points and, 11 rebounds, something like that. Like, that's great for your rookie year. So they have the pieces. They have the potential. They just got to figure it out. They just
suck, man.
I do think Ricky Rubio is a good step in the right direction, though. And actually, that will put them ahead of the Cleveland Cavaliers, I think, in my title odds for next season.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Big jump. Big jump. Actually, no, I have the Knicks in last place.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. Although something tells me just because the Knicks are going to make a stupid free agency signing just because we panicked, we missed on everybody, sign the next best player. I do think the Knicks probably won't end up as the worst team. I feel like the Cavs are going to end up as the worst team in the league.
Where you got the Bulls?
The Bulls currently, right now, ignoring anything that's happened in free agency so far. The Chicago Bulls are 27th in the running to win the NBA championship.
But hey, thank God we got Thaddeus Young.
That actually might put us ahead of the Wizards because the Wizards lost Trevor Ariza and we gained Thaddeus Young.
And they still don't have John Wall.
Yeah, well, that's why the Wizards are so low because they're not going to have John Wall because John Wall is recovering from a heel injury and now a torn Achilles.
Yes.
Because he fell at home. Yep.
Clumsy.
Oh, can we talk about what was up? Did you see John Wall at the
Oh, so we're gonna get into that conversation.
Yeah, what was with was he high? Was he sad?
Drugs are bad, children. Drugs are bad.
What was with he was crying, he seemed out of it, he was wearing sunglasses inside. He was
a robot. Do you see I forget what his name is. He's an actor. He was next to him during that, and he was trying so hard not to laugh. He was smirking the whole time. It was so funny.
John Wall, what's going on with you, man? You sat out the whole season because of a heel. In March, it was announced you fell at your home and you tore your Achilles. I don't know how you do that. And then show up at the NBA awards stoned or I don't know what it was. Emotional.
maybe he's just shy and doesn't know how to talk in front of a crowd. I don't know. Maybe he didn't take intro to speech at Kentucky. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to take your freshman year, so who knows?
All right. That hurt to watch, though.
Man, we're not even an hour officially into free agency, and we've already had several big moves by many teams. A lot of moves I like. I think for tomorrow, I'm going to do a top 10 ranking of the best moves in free agency.
Yes. You should do best and worst.
Best and worst. Yeah, I'll do that. And I'll probably do my best move of the day and worst move of the day. Best move of the day, obviously, Brooklyn Nets signing Kevin Durant. I mean, when you sign arguably the best player in the game, I don't care if he's coming off an Achilles injury in a year. That's the best move. For one, it helps the NBA out immensely. It gives parity to the league. It adds another
a better chance to go to the finals.
It adds another star to the Eastern Conference, which is what the Eastern Conference desperately needs. It adds another star to Brooklyn. It cements Brooklyn as a contender down the road. It's great for the city of New York, which is the largest market in the country. I don't know what else to say about that. It's the best move. The worst move of the day. Actually, Antonio, what's your best move while I try to think of my worst one?
Oh, well, I think we can all agree that it's the Nets. I mean, I'm not even going to talk over what you already said. I mean, they signed the best player in the league. So that's it. And they obviously have signed Kyrie as well. And I don't know if it's just verbally or what's going on with DeAndre Jordan, but supposedly they have him. Hopefully it's not a Mavs situation where he says he's going to sign there and then changes his mind last second.
Oh, that'd be interesting. The part 2 in the DeAndre Jordan free agency saga.
But yeah, Nets are definitely the best move or moves so far.
All right.
I don't even know how you can even top that. Like, I don't care what happens today.
Actually, whatever happens with Kawhi Leonard, that's the only thing that tops it, to be honest.
What team would you need to go to top that? The Lakers?
Lakers and Clippers. And I would say, honestly, Toronto re-signing him also would top that because, again, it was a 50-50 chance he leaves, in my opinion. You get Kawhi to stay in Toronto, which Toronto does not have a history of keeping its stars outside of Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. I think in a way, that is a free agency pickup for Toronto, in my mind.
Yeah.
Because there was, honestly, I remember at the start of the season, there was like a rumor that when Kawhi got traded to Toronto, that he'd sit out the entire season. Like, I remember seeing that.
Oh, yeah. He was not thrilled to live in Canada.
Which, I mean, you can't blame him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you want to live in LA, you move from the hot San Antonio.
Weather's a little different from Texas to Canada.
And just, like, all the intangibles of living in a different country to go with that. Like, if you heard Lou William on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, like, he outlined a lot of stuff that, honestly, I've never really thought of when it came to, like, playing in a different country for an NBA star.
It's annoying. It's annoying to leave the country.
Like, and it was all the small stuff, too. Aside, like, paying taxes to 2 countries aside, you have to look at, like, it's expensive in Toronto. TV channels, like, it's the little stuff in life. Having your kids grow up in a different country that's not America, like, all that. Like, I didn't think about that stuff. So it makes a lot of sense. I think we're approaching this might be my first 2-hour podcast. We're going to clip right here. We'll be back on Anchor and Spotify, wherever you're listening. All right. We're going to set up the microphone and go. All right. We are back. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Anchor Podcasts, or Spotify, wherever you're finding this podcast, thank you for listening. I am here with my partner, Antonio Calabrese. He's usually on all the time with Chad Gresham, although we don't have, and I'm surprised Chad has not called in yet. But hey, at least we got part of the band back together. Oh, that is true. So yeah, where were we? We were talking about the best moves. So we're talking about Durant, and then we got into Kawhi. We were thinking Kawhi. Well, at least I was thinking Kawhi signing anywhere would be the only move that would top the free agency signing of Durant. All right. I'm still trying to think of the worst move in free agency today, which from what I've seen, there haven't been a lot of bad moves or bad contracts for that matter. I have two ideas of what your worst contract is. I don't know if you know it off the top of your head right now, but I'm going to ask you, what is the worst contract in your opinion so far today, or the worst signing?
Right now, I mean, I don't think Chris Middleton should have a max. I like the guy, good at basketball. I mean, he's like consistent. Like his numbers have been like, you're getting out of him basically.
Uh-huh.
But for a max, and they were just in a position where it's like, you're not going to let him leave. Like you lose him. I mean, you're kind of screwed.
Exactly.
Now you lose that. You clearly lost Brogdon. So
the Bucks are trapped.
Yeah. It's just, you're screwed regardless. So I guess just pay him and whatever.
So one of our streamers said that the worst contract in their opinion is the Terry Rozier to Charlotte. I believe that was a 3-year, $58 million deal.
That is a close second place, in my opinion. It's right there.
See, I don't think it's
But I think there's question marks with him because, like,
actually,
I don't really know if that was, Scary Terry. Was that actually him? Or is that like an Isaiah Thomas type of thing where it's like he was good for a year or two and now he's going to, like, get this contract and turn into Chandler Parsons or something?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Because looking at the contract, he's going to be at, like, around just over $18 million a year, I believe. Which, if we get the Terry Rozier from last season and in years past, that's an overpay. But it's not a bad contract if it's Scary Terry. And just for losing Kemba, they need a point guard. It might not be a bad contract. But it is a lot of money for Terry Rozier.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, fingers crossing type of stuff. So I think the most upfront worst contract was Chris Middleton.
Yep. So you don't have a problem with the signing. I assume you just have a problem with the contract.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking through everything and racking my brain. All right, I'm gonna swipe up real quick just to see, like, just go back through the feed. The only deal I'm not crazy on is the Harrison Barnes deal, just because, like, I still think it's a lot of money. Oh, we met.
I didn't see that one. What was it?
He's staying in Sacramento for 4 years, $83 million. Oh. So it's a smaller deal than the one he signed with the Mavericks, but still he's getting paid like $22 million a year.
What was Powell's contract with the Mavs?
3 years, $33 million.
That's kind of gross.
I don't think it's that bad.
I think that guy sucks.
Oh, but
my bold statement. I think that man sucks, and he should be paid minimum. So you know what? That might be the worst contract.
The Rockets signed somebody half an hour ago. They re-signed Daniel House to a 3-year, $11 million. $11 million deal. So I'm just throwing that out there. Okay, worst deal.
Aren't they supposed to lose Clint Capella or something like that?
I think that's only in the event of them trading for Jimmy Butler. All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to see, it's hard for me to say the Middleton deal is the worst just because, like, they had to re-sign him. Like, that was a must re-sign, and they had to pay him, like, the max to do it. Like, because otherwise, I'm afraid another team like the Knicks or the Lakers were going to do it. So Milwaukee had to, so I'm not going to fault them for that, even though it cost them Malcolm Brogdon. I'm going to go with that for now, the Harrison Barnes deal. Just because they have a lot of young players now, so in a few years they're going to have to pay them. I don't know if Harrison Barnes will live up to the contract. Like, Harrison Barnes is a good player and a great addition to any team, but at $22 million a year, I don't know how I feel about that.
It's a little hefty.
It is. It's a heft, and we're in, like I feel like it's going to be another 5 years before contracts balance out amongst all the players because we're still on a lot of the bad contracts from 2016 when the CBA expanded. If you can remember, that was like Chandler Parsons' deal, Joakim Noah's deal, Luol Deng, like all those deals, Timothy Mozgov, like all those deals are up. Like
Alan Crabb, I think.
Alan Crabb, yeah, all those deals end, I believe, like next season.
Good riddance.
But like, there's still like a lot of teams just don't have the cap space right now. So I think the league will eventually figure out what players are worth. I mean, I feel like fans and those in the media have great, like, we're all aware of what are bad and good deals, I feel like. But the teams just, I couldn't tell you what, like, I could have been a better general manager in the summer of 2016, I feel like.
The Bulls have like 3 or 4 people to re-sign. I wonder if we're going to overpay on any of them.
I don't know. Like, Brooke Lopez is a free agent, or I'm sorry, Robin Lopez. I just pulled the Fred Hoiberg. So Robin Lopez. Who else?
Archie Akino, I believe his contract is up.
Yep, Archie Diacono. And
2 other people I don't remember. They didn't play. God dang it, I don't remember. They're like first or second year players, and they didn't really play in the games. They were more like G League people, or they just sat the bench. So I don't remember who they were.
Yeah.
So I guess that doesn't really matter. But I'm just curious on what we're doing with Robin, and if we're gonna overpay for no reason with Arch.
I think we'll re-sign Robin Lopez, but it will be to a lot lower deal than what he was on. So in a way, that does free up some cap space compared to last season's roster. But
yeah.
So I know we signed Thaddeus Young. He's a power forward, small forward combo. Do you still want to see the Bulls bring back Taj Gibson, or did you want to see the Bulls bring back Taj Gibson at all?
No, I don't want to see Taj Gibson back. I just don't. What's the purpose?
Depth at the power forward, veteran presence.
Oh God! Oh, we drafted a power forward for Christ's sake.
Center.
He's like 6'10". We'll probably play both.
In today's league, that's a center.
Accurate, but I mean, you could put him at 4. We have what's his face at the same time with him.
But
having a brain fart.
Like, I always forget his name, but he's like an athletic beast.
Oh, like it's like Gafford or something like that.
But like, yeah, but he can't. Something Gafford. But he can't shoot. Like, he can't shoot, so he wouldn't be a great power forward in today's league. Like, so I only see him as a center. And you also have to remember Wendell Carter's only 6'10" as well.
I think he's 6'11", but I mean 1 inch is 1 inch.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel like if the Bulls are still pursuing Taj. Thaddeus Young was so out of the blue that I don't think they will. Like, yeah, I feel like
that was pretty random. Not gonna lie.
I'm okay with it though. I know you're not crazy about it, but
yeah,
I don't understand. It's saying I have a new comment, but there's no new comment. All right, that's weird. Anyway,
I'm looking at our other free agents. Oh, how did I forget this? Wayne Selden.
Oh yes, Wayne Selden is a free agent, but I feel like we're not going to re-sign him, and in fact, he's probably going to fall out of the league. I just don't see a team.
Don't say that.
Yeah, you big what?
Tobias Harris.
Oh.
5-year, $180 million to stay.
I don't see that yet.
Oh, but you will.
That's huge for Philly. That's good. But I don't know what that means about Jimmy Butler, though.
Yep. I don't know how much space they have for him.
So what? How many years was it again? And
5 years.
for how much?
I think it was 180.
5 years, 180. That is.
Yeah, 5 years, 180.
Well, that's a max. I believe that's a max. Trying to do the math in my head. I'm on summer vacation. This isn't good.
You trying to do per year?
Yeah.
36.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I think that's an overpay. Obviously, Tobias Harris was going to get a max contract from somebody.
Kind of like the Bucks situation. You're like, well,
I'd rather overpay for Tobias Harris, though.
Hey, the man. He deserves it. I like him.
Yeah. No, I think he's good in Philly. He's a shooter. He can play down low. Like, I like him. I'm a big fan. And I like how he's broken out. He's kind of like a Nikola Vucevic. It's kind of funny. He's a former Magic player. Like to where they're both like fringe, like above average players that eventually just developed into all-stars to where teams covet them now. Like, I love it. All right. So yeah, I did just get the Tobias Harris news. Waj broke the news, as I'm sure he broke for basically every player. 180 million. Good for him. He was getting shuffled around. Like, I loved him with the Clippers. I thought he was good in Detroit. I thought the Magic made a mistake for trading him.
Yep.
And so he was bouncing around, and I'm glad he found a home in Philly. I'm happy about that. And that also, like, it's good to know that's another option off the board for the Knicks. Another option off the board for the Lakers too. So the Lakers really they really better hope they're getting Kawhi, or else their options are running out, because a lot of players that I didn't think would sign today have signed today.
Yeah.
So really their only options for stars right now are Kawhi Leonard and D'Angelo Russell.
And Jimmy Butler.
Oh, yeah, and Jimmy Butler. But it doesn't sound like Butler's going to.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to Miami. So if he goes to Miami, where do you rank them?
Well, it definitely moves them into the playoffs, but probably no higher than a 7th or 8th seed. That also depends on who they trade, because I feel like Hassan Whiteside would be the first person they'd want to move.
Yep.
But where do you move him to?
The Knicks, man.
We're just going to throw all the contracts at the Knicks. That's what we're going to do.
Why not?
And I have to plug my laptop in. I wasn't sure how long this stream was going to go, but it's going. It's rolling. This stream has been rolling.
You might as well just make it a 24-hour all-day extravaganza.
Dude, I gotta get up at 5 in the morning tomorrow for work. Yeah, I'm gonna pull an all-nighter and then work a 10-hour, potentially 10 and a half, 11-hour shift. That's a good idea.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I guess until more free agency news rolls in. Well, actually, let's go over my top 10 list for free agents going into today. The top 10 free agents. Kevin Durant is off the board. He's going to Brooklyn for the next 4 years. Kawhi Leonard is still the biggest question mark in free agency. There are 3 teams that are potential front runners: Clippers, Raptors, and Lakers. Kyrie Irving is going to be in Brooklyn for the next 4 years. He's off the board. Klay Thompson is returning to Golden State for the next 5 years. Kemba Walker is going to the Celtics for the next 4. Jimmy Butler is still up in the air. Al Horford is still up in the air. Tobias Harris, as of a few minutes ago, is officially returning to Philly. D'Angelo Russell's up in the air, and Nikola Vucevic has re-signed with the Magic. So, out of my top 10 players, 6 of them have signed.
And it's only 6:15.
Yeah, an hour and 15 minutes into free agency officially. So that's crazy. I remember the summer of 2014. In my mind, the craziest summer of free agency, unless you count the 2016 when Durant signed with the Warriors. The year, obviously, it was the year of Melo, Stoudemire, LeBron James, like where they were going to. I can't believe they threw Amari Stoudemire into that list. I was just like, I was thinking Knicks and players on the Knicks that moved. I think, why is his name not coming to mind right now? Tyson Chandler also moved on from the Knicks. This is the beginning of the end for the Knicks. And Melo. Melo should have signed with Chicago. I'll say that again. I agree. If he comes back at all, that's who it's going to be with, because I feel like he's burned every other bridge. Yeah, this, like, I remember that summer. It took days and I remember Melo and LeBron were playing a game of chess. Neither of them were gonna sign anywhere until the other one signed. I remember seeing like LeBron didn't want to sign without Melo signing somewhere, and vice versa. And I believe LeBron signing with Cleveland came first. I could be wrong. And then Melo signed with the Knicks like right after that. To my dismay, the 16-year-old me was really upset. Really upset with that. Because I had in my head, oh, Jimmy Butler's going to improve. I didn't think Jimmy Butler would become an all-star that year. But, oh, Jimmy Butler, he's going to get better. Derrick Rose is going to come back full under his legs. And at that time, I was still saying, and I will own up to at that time, Derrick comes, LeBron James, Kevin. So I'm like,
What could have been?
damn, we're going to have Derrick Rose. We're going to have Carmelo Anthony, Jimmy Butler, reigning defensive player of the year and fourth in MVP voting, Joakim Noah. Damn, we were set up. We were set. We were going to win a championship that year. We got rid of Boozer. We amnestied him and the Lakers signed him. Like, things were looking good for Chicago. We were going to sign Aaron Brooks. Like, I mean, I think we re-signed Taj Gibson that year too.
We would have literally won a minimal of two championships.
I don't know about that, but I think we would have won in 2015. Sorry, Warriors fans. I'm big on my Bulls. We would have kicked your ass in the finals. It would have been a good 6 or 7 game series. But yeah. So, do you want me to get into my my title odds? Or, well, not really odds, my rankings.
I'm gonna actually eat some food. I didn't think I'd be on here this long.
I didn't. I wasn't sure if you were gonna come. I figured you'd drop by at some point. All right.
It's always fun to pay a visit.
Yeah, it's good having you on, Antonio. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Antonio Calabrese, everybody. He will definitely return more often as we get back into the school year, because we are roommates and it's much easier to do these podcasts together when we're actually together. All right.
Yes.
So please try not to starve yourself. Go eat some food.
Yep.
All right. See you later, my man.
See ya.
All right. So I will continue to monitor the free agency news as long as I am here. But we're gonna get into my top 10, or I'm sorry. Well, I'm gonna only update it top 10 going through the next couple days. Oh, this is huge news. Well, I mean, it doesn't change anything, but this is a big reason why KD didn't sign with the Knicks. New York and Jim Dolan were not prepared to offer Durant a max contract due to concerns over an Achilles injury that he suffered in the finals. That changes reports that a few days after he tore his Achilles, the Knicks were one of the teams that came out and said that injury did not change anything for them. That injury did not change anything for them in terms of what they thought about KD and if they're going to sign him or not. So that is huge. Okay, I mean, I get it's an Achilles injury, but you also have to remember who you're talking about. We're not talking about DeMarcus Cousins suffering this. We're not talking about a 34, 35-year-old Kobe Bryant suffering this. We're talking about arguably the best player, the back-to-back 2017-2018 Finals MVP, Kevin Durant. He's only going to be 32. Kevin Durant is still very, very good at basketball when he returns from his Achilles. He might not even miss a beat. He could be one of the only players in recent memory that returns from an Achilles and doesn't miss a beat. You are such a dumpster fire of a franchise. You are in the best market, the most valuable team in the NBA, and still can't draw free agents to New York City, the Knicks, the biggest brand in basketball. I don't know why it should be the Lakers or the Celtics or hell, my Chicago Bulls. And you're going to take the risk on not offering arguably the best player in basketball. I don't care if he's coming back from the Achilles. I don't care if he's not playing next year. You're still going to have 3, potentially more seasons with him down the road. You weren't going to offer Kevin Durant the max, and that's why he didn't sign with you. Let alone he was already potentially going to return to Golden State or sign with Brooklyn. But you're going to take the risk of saying, we'll offer you this, but we're not giving you the max. Oh my God. That's the most New York. I wish Antonio was still here for this. That is the most New York Knicks thing I've ever seen. As people in my stream are saying, classic Knicks. Oh boy. Wow. That can I apply for the New York Knicks job? I think I'd run your franchise a lot better. I could use a few $1 million. That'd be nice. Hell, you know what? I would do it for, Knicks? Here, I could solve your issues. I'll be your GM. You just pay for my college and pay off all my student loans. I don't even need any extra cheese on top of that. Just pay off my student loans and I'll do the job for you. I would be a better GM. I would be a better owner. I would be a better whatever comes with that team in your front office than what is going on there. Because at least I have the presence of mind to give Kevin Durant everything he wants. Oh, okay. I like this. Mike Scott is staying with the 76ers on a 2-year, $9.8 million deal. Mike Scott became a fan favorite in Philly this season. In fact, a fan tattooed him like Mike Scott onto his arm or leg or something. I think it was his leg. So I like that. It's a good pickup for Philly. I think Philly needs to do everything they can to keep as much chemistry as possible going into next season. And I think re-sign Mike Scott, a great veteran, well, not great, a solid veteran forward. It's a really good signing for Philly. All right, so I was distracted by what was happening in New York. And I can't wait to go on to Facebook. Facebook's like my newspaper. That's where I get all my news. I can't wait to start debating. I hope my guys on Basketball Tip-Off have been keeping up with everything because obviously I'm here. I'm not updating our page while I'm here. And also, I think I have to write an article for the Northern Stars, the newspaper I work for, on everything going on in free agency and my takes. I should probably start on that tonight or definitely tomorrow. All right. So here, and keep in mind, and I am going to go back and I'm going to update the odds right now on the fly. It's probably going to change tomorrow with stuff that goes on after my stream and also just me having more time to think. So this is as of June 29th, yesterday, before any moves were official. This was assuming all the rosters would stay basically the same and also taking into account injuries like Kevin Durant's, John Wall's, and Klay Thompson's. The most likely team, in my opinion, to win the 2020 NBA Finals and usher in a new decade in NBA history would be the Toronto Raptors. This is, of course, assuming Kawhi Leonard stays with the team. The second most likely team for me is the Golden State Warriors because KD. Oh, speaking of the Warriors, Reports out Dubs could sign and trade KD. There's a possibility Durant will engage in a sign and trade swap with the Warriors and Nets. That's probably to clear cap space for the Nets, so they're probably going to throw a lot of their young players on there. This could be big for the Warriors. The Warriors clearly are lacking depth. They lost KD. If they do a sign and trade with the Nets, it helps the Nets clear cap, and it helps the Warriors build up depth for their team. As they don't have a lot of cap space, they're losing Durant. They had to sign Klay Thompson to a max, and they're going to need it because if you look at the Warriors roster, it's full of old, aging vets and players that really have no business seeing rotations on championship teams. Like, look, the starting shooting guard next year for the Warriors could very well be Sean Livingston or one of the rookies they drafted. So I have the Warriors second most likely because Klay Thompson's going to come back in March. They still have Steph Curry, they still have Draymond, still have Andre Iguodala. I feel like they will sign somebody, so we'll have to see. Third most likely odds: Houston Rockets. Chris Paul and James Harden haven't been getting along according to reports, but I feel like if the Rockets stand pat, they'll still be a contender and they'll still be very good. Number 4, which I could easily throw into the 3 spot, and this may shock some people, is the Denver Nuggets. Now, the only reason I'm putting the Nuggets over the Lakers is because the Nuggets have a complete roster. We know what the Nuggets are going to look like next year. They're re-signing Paul Millsap. It's just another year that all those players have together. Michael Porter Jr. Is going to come into the fray. He could become something. Hopefully, he gets over his injuries. I know he developed some like drag foot or something, which is a little concerning. I do agree Nuggets are always slept on by the media and fans. They're in Colorado. They don't have any of the flashy stars. Nikola Jokic still isn't a household name, although he should be now after how he performed in the playoffs. So I'm going to give the Nuggets the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to put them at 4 ahead of the Lakers. They're so talented. They're so talented. They're so deep. They've been drafting and trading really well. The Bulls were at the expense of one of those trades. If you remember on draft night 2014, the Bulls had 2 mid first round picks, and we drafted Gary Harris and Yusuf Nurkic. Yusuf Nurkic, who is blossomed in Portland, and Gary Harris, who's been a fantastic player for the Denver Nuggets, would have been great additions to Chicago. And this would have been the same year we would have signed Melo. So could you imagine this? Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, Gary Harris, Yusuf Nurkic, Joakim Noah. And this is assuming, obviously, Melo not signing there. Pau Gasol, all those guys. Obviously, Nurkic and Harris would have to work through the rookie year, but they would have developed. And this would have probably extended my Chicago Bulls championship window and just the core staying together. And we traded for the 11th pick in the draft through the Nuggets selected Doug McDermott. And I was okay with this trade because I believed in the Bulls wanting McDermott. I mean, came out of Creighton as like the 4th highest score in NCAA history. I was all for it. And Doug McDermott underwhelmed. Oh, God. And we traded him to the Thunder for an even worse lottery player from that season in Cameron Payne. Yeah, it was just not good. So, yeah. So we had Nurkic, we had Harris, we screwed up. So anyway, Nuggets are my number 4. Now, well, I'm going to check the Facebook feed real quick and see how we're doing on top. Oh, I was within 10 seconds. So we will be right back. This is Highly Opinionated. All right. So while that's uploading, we're going to reset the mic and we're going to start another one. This could go into 2 hours. We're officially halfway through hour 2 on Highly Opinionated. That's crazy. That's crazy. We've been going for a while. So I was going to check the Facebook thing. A lot of people joined that usually I wouldn't expect to join. So, hey, shout out to you guys on Facebook for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. And shout out to M71408 for being active in the stream today. I've been having good conversations with you. I appreciate it. Breaking news. The Spurs, their second signing of the day, they're going to sign Damari Carroll. He agrees to a 2-year, $13 million deal with San Antonio. I think that's a fantastic pickup for San Antonio. I think they got a discount on him. Great veteran signing. Adds depth to their wings, which they need. I love the Spurs. It's hard for me to root for them without the big three being there. Of course, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. But I still have nostalgia for the Spurs. So nothing more. I'd love to see them improve. I actually thought they had a really good chance at being the Nuggets, and they took them to 7 games. But those final 24 seconds were horrendous. I don't know what that was. Yeah. All right. So number 5, I have the Los Angeles Lakers, which even still to me, I mean, I have to put them here because they have 2 top 5 players. But for some people, this still might be high. And for some people, this might be too low. But I put the Lakers at 5. You have LeBron James, you have Anthony Davis, and you have Kyle Kuzma. That is by far the best front court in the NBA. And maybe one of the best front courts in NBA history, at least on paper. Obviously, the Lakers are going to fill out their roster in the coming days. The only reason I have them this low is because I don't know what the rest of that roster is going to look like. They could very well be the favorite next year, or they could very well be anywhere from 1 through 5 for next year. We just have to see what's going to happen. I can't put them any higher because there's only 5 players, and you can't base a team off of 5 players. So at number 6, and they're probably going to move down from here after what's happened with losing Brogdon. That hurts. The Milwaukee Bucks. I do believe Giannis is going to work his ass off in that gym. You could see how disappointed he was when he lost. And Giannis is the kind of player, he's got that Kobe Bryant mentality. He's going to work. I mean, you saw the strides he took. He's the MVP right now. And he wants nothing more than bring Milwaukee back to the finals and give them a title. He's the best thing that's happened to that town since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson. And being from the Chicagoland area, which encompasses the bordering towns. Well, I'm not exactly a bordering town of Wisconsin, but I've lived within 10 to 20 minutes of the Wisconsin border my entire life, and I travel to Wisconsin constantly. Aside from the Green Bay Packers, and that's part of this, Wisconsin is only really loyal and has ever been loyal. It doesn't matter how bad they are to the Green Bay Packers and the Milwaukee Brewers. And I think that needs to change. I think Milwaukee Bucks, and especially with basketball being so big with my generation and the generation below me, Milwaukee has never really gotten its just dues in Wisconsin. Maybe in the Milwaukee area, they have a loyal following, but like when you go far north, like Green Bay, Appleton, De Pere, towns like that, like the Bucks really haven't caught on. And now that they have the reigning MVP, they have a chance at the finals. The Bucks, they're definitely gonna change. They're definitely gonna become a real concrete team in Wisconsin. I love that. And they're becoming a concrete team in the NBA. I love seeing small markets succeed in the NBA. And like I have Denver up in my top 5. I have Bucks, Milwaukee just outside my top 5. That's 2 small markets that usually don't draw free agents. So at number 7, and they could move up, they could move down. Who knows what's going to happen? I have the Philadelphia 76ers. They just re-signed Tobias Harris. We don't know what's happening with Jimmy Butler. But obviously, as I said earlier, these rankings are based off of the rosters as they were yesterday. So 76ers, they did just lose JJ Redick. They are most likely going to lose Jimmy Butler. So that could be a big hit. At number 8, I have the Boston Celtics. They did just lose Kyrie, but they recovered with Kemba. And honestly, I think that's better. I think they improve with Kemba by losing Kyrie. Now, they do lose depth at the point guard and Terry Rozier, who's likely going to be part of that sign-in trade. He is officially going to go to the Hornets. They're most likely going to lose Al Horford, so that's another hit. But I think the Celtics will cover. But as of yesterday, this is where I'm putting them. I have, and this is going to probably surprise some people, I have the Jazz at number 9, and this is because of the Mike Conley trade. I think it's a fantastic trade. Mike Conley is an all-star level talent. You're going to pair him with Donovan Mitchell. That's a great-looking backcourt. You have Rudy Gobert, who's the reigning 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. This doesn't factor into this, but they signed Bojan Bogdanovic. You have Joe Ingles returning. I'm not and again, it's another small market team, and I love it. To follow them, another small market team, the Portland Trailblazers, who just re-signed Rodney Hood. Obviously, that's not going to factor in, although it really wouldn't, because this is assuming Rodney Hood stays. It was also assuming Al-Farouq Aminu stays, but obviously he's leaving. The Blazers probably could move down just because a lot of teams below them are making strides and are poised to make strides. At number 11, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are going to need to make some moves. They don't have a lot of depth, and that's been their problem ever since Kevin Durant left. Steven Adams is on a big contract. But, I mean, it's hard to rank them low when you have Russell Westbrook and Paul George. At number 12, I have the San Antonio Spurs. They still have DeMar DeRozan. Rudy Gay re-signed there. They did pick up DeMar Carroll, but as I said before, that's not factoring into these rankings. LaMarcus Aldridge, they were the 8th seed in the West last year, and they almost moved on to the second round. But I'm going to keep them at 12. At 13, the Los Angeles Clippers, the exceed team. But I love what the Clippers. I'm a big Los Angeles guy. I love Los Angeles. I like the Lakers as a brand. And just because Los Angeles is one of my favorite cities, I kind of and just for what the Clippers are, they're the team without the star. They got Patrick Beverly, who's like the lunch pail, tough nose, going to come in and do some work. Oh, the Knicks got a guy. The Knicks got a player. The Knicks got a star, if you consider him that. The Knicks got the consolation player. Julius Randle is going to the New York Knicks, 3 years, $63 million. It's not totally dark and rainy New York. I mean, it's not Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving or Kawhi Leonard or who else? Klay Thompson. Well, he's not even a top 10 free agent, but hey, you got somebody that averaged 21 points per game last year on a player that people consider is pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if Antonio Calabrese rejoins the stream for a little bit. I thought Randall was probably going to go here. I don't know if I brought him up. Actually, let's see who I linked Julius Randle to. I didn't think he was returning to the Pelicans, although that would have been nice. Randall. Did I even write down Randall? I thought I talked about him. I guess I didn't write down Julius Randle. He was linked to the Bulls, Pelicans, Lakers. Actually, no. I think I heard some rumblings from the Lakers. So Knicks did get their guy. I don't know how that's going to be received in New York. They're probably not too thrilled, especially after the news that they weren't going to offer KD the max. This could be great for Randle. This could be great for RJ Barrett. It could be great for the Knicks. This, if RJ Barrett develops into a star, and having Julius Randle with him and Dennis Smith Jr. and maybe Emmanuel Mudiay, who knows what's going to happen, Mitchell Robinson, then Knicks could turn around pretty well and not be the shitstorm that they've been the last. Well, let's just say the Knicks haven't been too fantastic outside of Linsanity and the 1 year Amari carried them in the playoffs. So basically since 1999, the Knicks have been bad, and I was still in diapers in '99. So that tells you how how long it's been for the Knicks on really having a true bright future. So who knows what's going to happen. So anyway, I was on the Clippers. The Clippers could either shoot. The Clippers are poised to shoot up this ranking. The Clippers could just as much shoot up to the number one spot if a certain free agent goes there. At 14, I have the Indiana Pacers. Victor Oladipo is going to be returning from his knee injury. And well, Collison retired, but they get Brogdon back. I think Brogdon's better than Collison. And the Pacers, they're not going to be a contender. And at 15, I have the Pistons. They have I've almost said DeAndre Jordan again. They have Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin. It's not factoring into Derrick Rose being there. But I have the Pistons at 15. At the Nets, I have them at 16, and they're going to shoot up the leaderboard, obviously, with just having Kyrie Irving and most likely DeAndre Jordan next year. And for 2021's rankings, whoa, Kevin Durant being there. So the Nets are at 16, but this is with the Spencer Dinwiddie and D'Angelo Russell roster being factored in. At 17, I have the Kings, who are going to move up. At 18, I have the Pelicans, who are going to move up. At 19, I have the Mavericks. I think they'll stay here for now, unless they make any major moves. This is factoring into Kristaps Porzingis returning, obviously. They just have to add more pieces, and I have to see Porzingis actually play for me to move them up any higher. The Magic are at 20. The Hornets are at 21, and they're going to shoot down. Like, they're going to be at the bottom, in my opinion, because this is factoring with Kemba on the roster. Kemba's not there. Jeremy Lamb's not even there. Oh, I forgot. Pacers added Jeremy Lamb. That's going to be a really good sixth man for them. So they'll probably move up for that. The Heat, I have a hunch the Heat will move up. I feel like a certain former Chicago Bull is going to be headed there in a sign and trade. At 23, I have the Timberwolves. They could move up. They could move down. Who knows what's going to happen with them. They could get D'Angelo Russell. I have the Hawks at 24. I think they'll stay right around there unless they make a move. They did lose Dwayne Dedman. So once I balance everything out and look at the rosters, we'll see. At 25, I have the Grizzlies. I might move them up, to be honest. At 26, I have the Wizards. They'll probably stay around there. At 27, I have the Bulls. They might move up a little bit. I don't know. We'll have to see. At 28, I have the Cavs. They're probably going to stick around there. At 29, I have the Suns, who could move up. And at 30, I have the Knicks, who will move up with the Julius Randle signing. So, yeah. All right, so I said I was going to do an on the fly with what we know today, my new top 10. At number 1, as things are, I still have the Raptors. I still have the Warriors. I still have the Rockets. I still have the Nuggets, and I still have the Lakers. That top 5 is staying there. I will, however, I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be bold. And I'm going to put the Nets at 6 over the Bucks. Barring any major news with that Kevin Durant sign and trade, this is assuming Spencer Dinwiddie, Jarrett Allen, and all those guys are still going to be there. Although I feel like Jarrett Allen's going to get moved if DeAndre Jordan's going there, but who knows? But their team is super deep with adding Kyrie and DeAndre Jordan to it. And I mean, Garrett Temple's like a minor addition, but that's not a bad veteran signing. So, and with the Bucks losing Brogdon, I'm just going to have the Nets fly 10 spots up and grab the 6th spot. So I'm going to have the Bucks at 7. I'm going to have, and just because they lost Al Horford, I can't put them ahead of this. Well, actually, this is still assuming that Al Horford signs there, but it's not likely. You know what? I'm going to have, I'm going to keep the 76ers at 7. I'm going to keep the Celtics at 8. I'm going to looking down the list of teams, and no one's done anything to catapult them really into the top 10 other than the Nets. So I'm going to leave it as Celtics, Jazz, and Blazers round out my top 10. Yeah. So I got Raptors, Warriors, Rockets, Nuggets, Lakers, Nets, Bucks, Sixers, Celtics, and Jazz. Oh, that pushes the Blazers out of the top 10. My mistake. And losing Aminu, that hurts. That hurts them too. But losing Aminu does open up space to sign Canner, so it might not all be too bad. All right. So Tobias Harris, and I did touch on this. Tobias Harris said he stayed with the Sixers because I want to be somewhere that I can call home. Finally, I can do that now. If you recall, in the last 3 years, Tobias Harris has been on 3 teams: the Detroit Pistons, the Los Angeles Clippers, and now the Philadelphia 76ers, where he just re-upped for 5 seasons. Joel Embiid is reportedly ready to run it back. JoJo tweets a GTA meme with after Tobias Harris and after Tobias Harris agrees with Philly, and it looks like it has to be with CJ. CJ is the main protagonist for GTA San Andreas. You got the Bucks better with the Nets. I won't argue on you with that. I'm talking to somebody in my stream. I won't argue on you with that because the Bucks were really good. And yes, of course, Durant's not going to be there next year. That is just my bold prediction. I don't know. I'm so big on like the Nets core they already have that I can just see it happening. I'm also a big Spencer Dinwiddie fan. So Joel Embiid tweeted, shit, here we go again. I thought it was that, but I just had to make sure. I love it. Still the king of NBA Twitter, if you ask me. All right. So I basically went over all the big news today. Julius Randle is probably going to be like thrown into like my top 5 of free agents for still available, but with him being swayed, and I'm sure there'll be more free agency signings after I get off today. Wow, we are on to 3 hours. We're in officially hour 3. We are on 2 hours and 17 minutes of the stream. So that's awesome. Well, I'm going to end it here. So thank you so much for listening on Facebook, on Anchor, Spotify, wherever you're getting this podcast, or if you're watching this on YouTube, I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching the stream today. It's been fantastic. I love talking. This is my favorite time of the year. I love talking the NBA free agency. It does not get any better than this. And I'm sure we'll have more bigger developments as the week goes on. NBA moratorium ends July 6th, and then regular free agency will start after that. But all the big deals will most likely happen. I will be going to Wisconsin on July 3rd, but I will try to keep up with this as best as I can. I don't have the best reception, so I might literally have to drive like 30 minutes into town that has good cell reception. So anyway, thank you for watching Highly Opinionated. As always, I'm Jared Huff, and we had Antonio Calabrese join. So thank you so much for watching, listening, streaming, whatever you're doing. See you guys later.